Greetings! Welcome back. Riggs here, and I am flying high above the final score server, and I have a few things to catch you up on. I've been busy. Catch you up on. To things for you to be caught up on. Yeah, something like that. I've been busy. The first thing I've been doing, which is maybe not the most exciting thing, is chopping many birch trees and come up with hundreds of logs and hundreds of fence gates so far. I'm going to need hundreds more for the big project we're doing over at the House of Bounce. But I've done a few things besides that, which I wanted to show you. This is the sort of artificial lake that I had created behind this dam. And with the 1.13 ocean update, I want to make this kind of a tropical aquarium. So I did do a little exploring in our outworld, which is what we do for all the sort of mining resources. We have a renewable world which you can go and find stuff in. So I did some exploring out there, and let me see if I can find the correct. Do you like my organizational system? Find the correct. I did the correct shulker box with the 2 hearts of sea, and I've done some fishing to get nautilus shells. So actually, let's do that right now. I'll make the conduit, and then if I get some prismarine, I can place that around. I've actually never done this, so kind of fun to do this with y'all. If I can just get over there. Ender pearl to the rescue. Let's do it that way. There. Oh, that's not too close. Let's see where that goes. That might be closer. No, not at all. There we go. Let's try that. Yeah, so what we can do is we place these conduits down. Not sure. What do we want to do? Yeah, let's see. I think it's something like this, and then the conduit is going to go here maybe. Yeah, and then you put the blocks all around it. I don't really know what I'm doing. I think you do. Let's see. Is this right? Something like that. Just gonna basically put a bunch of prismarine around it. I could look this up. I probably should look this up. I will look this up. Okay, just kidding. I knew exactly what I was doing. This conduit needs to be surrounded by water on all sides, so it can't have any blocks touching it, and then it draws power from these prismarine blocks. So what you do is you create a ring around the conduit that is 1 block away, and you can do that on all 3 sides of it. And the more that you do this, the more power it gets. And yeah, right there you can see in the upper. I just pointed to the screen again. That doesn't work. In the upper right-hand corner, you can see the little icon. It looks like an eyeball for the conduit, and that's starting to give me more sort of the conduit power. If you notice where my bubbles are, where it shows my breath, I'm not running out of breath anymore. So yeah, it's kind of a neat thing. You get, I think it's probably a little bit brighter now, and you get underwater vision, and it kind of makes this interesting graphic. It's kind of a cool effect. It looks like it's sucking these bubbles of underwater power into it. So yeah, my first real conduit. I don't really know if I'm going to keep it here per se. I actually have maybe other plans for it at my museum. I want to make a aquarium there. Actually, why don't I show you my plan for that real quick? Okay, this is sort of where I'm going to be having my conduit, I think, over here at the Natural History Museum. We have the slimes and the endermites, and these are the endermites here. I think I'm going to have endermen in here. But yeah, down here, I've been sort of thinking about what I wanted to do with this big space. I have a little tunnel leading out to the roof there, so you can fly out, which is kind of a fun thing to do, to be able to swoop down through there. But I was thinking that maybe right here I would create a wall of maybe fence gates, or I could do alternating columns of glass panes, but then flood this whole area and make it like an underwater aquarium with all the tropical fish and maybe some coral reef, and get a dolphin or 2 in here. That might be kind of an interesting big water-filled area. I can kind of show you what it looks like from above. It would be a neat. Do I have rockets here? I'll just fly up. Go up there. Zoom. There we go. And if I'll show you where you can swoop back down in. That's the tunnel there, but I was thinking here. This is the roof, sort of underneath the garden area. Gives you a bird's eye view of what I was talking about. Yeah, I thought it'd be cool to have this whole area flooded and use the conduits so you could swim around in there and breathe underwater. So yeah, I think that's where the conduits will end up. But that's on the list for maybe next. Still working out over on the bounce house, but there's a couple more things I want to show you back at the base. Okay, coming back home, and this kelp farm has been working great. I've been spending a little bit of time fishing, and while I fish, this thing just keeps pumping out the kelp, and then I have it auto feeding into the smelter down here. But the problem I was having was too much smelted kelp. Oh, that was kind of a problem too. Yeah, so it was coming out here and filling these. I just had 4 chests because before that I had just been doing, the occasional batch of glass, and usually I didn't have more than 4 chests of things that I was smelting at one time. But now I do. These things are all filled up with kelp, and I have, all these things are filled up with kelp. So lots of kelp cooking, and what I did was I fed all the output from the furnaces down this little chain of, these are just droppers and hoppers. The hopper puts it into the dropper, and the hopper below pulls it out. Rather than just using hoppers, it saves you a little bit of iron. And then I have it feeding down here to where I have these water columns, and this feeds into a whole series of hoppers, so it'll fill up these chests first, and then it'll move across. And I haven't been going for too long. I don't think I'm going to need to extend any more storage, but I could if I needed to. And then you come down here, and this is kind of the little auto crafting area. So what you can do is empty your pockets full of everything that you don't need except for the kelp blocks, and then you spread these out. And let's see here. Yeah, we can just start. Oh, you know what I'm going to need is I'm going to need that axe. And I can, let's leave that there. So what you do is you just chop, 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 and all this stuff falls down. I think I have a few more chests to go. Yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit of this for now. But boy, okay, so all this stuff starts filling up my inventory, and I can click down here and just start crafting up many, many blocks. Actually, what I'll do is move these in here so I have a full open area there that I can just get 64 blocks at a time. So boom, each time you click there, it auto fills up with more and more, because I'm standing in these piles full of the kelp blocks. And because I spread out my inventory full of dried kelp blocks, it gives the new kelp blocks room to fill in those what are stacks of just 1 right now that clicks up when I do 64. It makes 64 more, and that's just about done. So I've done, boom, all those chests, and made many, 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 many dried kelp blocks super quick. So that was the idea, and mission accomplished. But I have been busy beyond that, chopping lots of birch wood, and let me show you what I've been up to over at the bouncy house. Oh, and don't forget to get your stuff back out when you're done, obviously. See, I almost left this arrow in the chest. So this infinity bow, next time I needed it, would have been worthless. Okay, so I've been busy, and I'll show you kind of how it goes. Do a little crash down there. So I have been making many birch fence gates, and then I just stack up. And so over here, I'm going to show you I've made just 1 tower so far. Oops. And it's been a lot of work, but working great. So this takes you all the way up to the top, and because I have the fence gates, you can come out anytime. They're not stuck inside the tunnel. You don't have to go all the way up to the top, which also makes it so that you can fly into it as well, which is kind of, I think, a neat thing. You can kind of glide in there and then get carried up. So I think it's going to be really fun to kind of play around with. There are a bunch of people on the server that like to do little player versus player battles and stuff. And so maybe they would like to do it on this little map. Yeah, and I've just done that one complete tower so far. I have another one over here. There we go. And let me answer my buddy here. Yeah, so this is kind of how it goes. You just kind of stack up once you have a whole bunch of birch fence gates. One thing I've been thinking about as I've been doing these stacking up, I stack up and get a chance to kind of look at things as I go up. Some of these towers, I took the time as I was building to count out, 10 blocks, and then I did some detail, and I counted out another 10 blocks, and I did some detail. And then even with the bridges over there, and this one, I obviously just stacked up super quick, which got it done. But now at some point I need to go back and do the detail. And I want to do more detail over there, so I'll have to do that as well. So it's always kind of a question as to what makes the most sense, to do it sort of slowly with the detail all at once, or just to bang out the big structure and then come back in with the detail when and if you feel like it. But for now, I'm going to show my buddy True how to do this bounce house. All right, well, that was fun. Just bounced around here with my buddy True. She hadn't seen the build before. So I was sort of showing her how you can just walk off these edges and bounce straight on to the next one. Kind of a fun thing. But she said, "This amuses me." And I told her mission accomplished, because that's obviously not a big functional build, not a crazy farm or anything that's accomplishing anything besides just basically like a big playground, just a big thing to bounce around on. But I've been enjoying it. It's kind of a fun thing. And I think definitely made more fun by the addition of the water columns. And I think once we get a few more of these in, where is it? There it is. Yeah, it'll be more fun and easier to be able to bounce back up. But I think I should probably leave it here for now. I like to keep these things on the shorter side. Just want to give you a little progress update as I zoom back up the bubbles. And I'm going to chop a lot more birch trees and make a lot more birch fences and do a lot more stacking up. And but I hope you have enjoyed. And if you have made it this far, I really appreciate it. Unless you live in my house. I mean, I still appreciate it, girls, But if there's anybody else watching this far, thanks. Anyway, until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.